Starters, welcome to Tuesday's lesson of Skellig. I hope the reading comprehension went well yesterday. Today we're going to be focusing on chapter 12 because within chapter 12 there is a specific statement that I want us to unpick and interpret in our own way. So what I thought for this YouTube video, I'm going to read chapter 12 and then at the end I'm going to give you some time to think about that statement, and then in the next video for today's lesson I will give you the task. So if you've got the book at home, feel free to follow along. If you haven't got the book at home, use the online images I've loaded, and if not, just listen to me read. So if you can turn to page 35 on chapter 12 and I'll make a start. So, Dr. Death was there when I got home. He was in the kitchen with Mum and Dad. He had the baby on his knee and he was fastening her vest up. He winked at me when I came in. Dad poked me in the ribs. I saw how flat Mum's face was. "It's this place," she said when Dr. Death had gone. "How can she thrive when it's so dirty and in such a mess?" She pointed out of the window. "See what I mean?" she said. "Stupid toilet, stupid ruins, stupid wilderness." She started crying. She said we should never have left Random Road. We should never have come to this stinking derelict place. She walked back and forward in the kitchen with the baby in her arms. "My little girl," she murmured. "My poor little girl." "The baby has to go back to hospital," Dad whispered. "Just for a while, just so the doctors can keep an eye on her. That's all. She will be fine. She will be fine." He stared out of the window into the wilderness. "I'll work harder," he said. "I'll get it ready for when she comes back again." "I'll help," I said, but he didn't seem to hear me. We had bread and cheese and tea. The baby lay there in the carry cot beside us. Mum went upstairs to put together things for the baby that she would need in hospital. I put the skeleton picture on the table and looked at it, but I couldn't concentrate on it. "That's good," Dad said, but he wasn't looking at it properly either. I went up and sat on the landing. I watched Mum throwing vests and nappies and cardigans into a little case. She kept clicking her tongue and going, "Ah, ah," like she was mad at everything. She saw me there and tried to smile, but started to click her tongue again. When she was finished, she said, "Don't worry, it won't be for long." She leaned down and put her hand on my head. What are shoulder blades for?" I said. "Oh, Michael," she said. She shoved past me like I was really getting on her nerves. But when she was halfway down the stairs, she stopped and came back to me. She slipped her fingers under my shoulder blades. "They say that shoulder blades are where your wings were when you were an angel," she said. "They say they're where your wings will grow again one day." "It's just a story though," I said. "A fairy tale for little kids, isn't it? Who knows? But maybe one day we all had wings and one day we'll all have wings again." "Do you think the baby had wings?" "Oh, I'm sure that one had wings. Just got to take one look at her sometimes. Sometimes I think she's never quite left heaven and never quite made it all the way here to earth." She smiled, but there were tears in her eyes. "Maybe that's why she had such trouble staying here," she said. I watched her, wondered what she'd say if I told her now about the man in the garage. I didn't tell her. Before she went away, I held the baby for a while. I touched her skin and her tiny soft bones. I felt the place where her wings had been. Then we went to the car to the hospital. We went to the baby's ward and left Mum and the baby there. Dad and I drove back to Falconer Road. We sat in a big empty house and looked at each other. Then he went back to painting the dining room walls. I drew a skeleton with wings rising from the shoulder blades. I looked out of the window and saw Mina sitting high up on top of the brick wall. So quite an intense chapter there. Michael's going through a lot, you know, his sister's not very well, she's had to go back to hospital. So there's quite a lot he's dealing with, but there is one particular statement that I want us to look at. And it's at the bottom of page 36. And it's when Michael asks his mum what shoulder blades are for. And she said, "They say that shoulder blades are where your wings were when you were an angel," she said. "They say they're where your wings will grow again one day." That's a really powerful statement. And what I want you to do is have a think about what you think that means. Try and interpret it. So does it mean, is there afterlife? Is there life before your life? Is there life after death? So on. How would these wings show? When would they show? Just have a chat with your siblings or your parents around you while I get the next video ready for the next task. Enjoy!